Hi, my name is Amy Flanagan, and my poster is all about teaching classic television to first-year college students. Why is this important, you might ask? That's a great question. Let me tell you a story. The other day, I asked my students to watch an episode of The Rifleman, a particular episode called 2 Ounces of Tin. The Rifleman is a Western series from the 1950s. It's a great Western, but I digress. I asked my students to watch it, and 2 Ounces of Tin features Chuck Connor, who is Lucas McCain, and Sammy Davis Jr. Yes, the Candy Man himself. The next step, I asked them to tell me about the story. The story talks about a gunman who enters into North Fork, where Lucas McCain and Mark McCain live. Mark befriends Tip Corey, who is played by Sammy Davis Jr., only to find out that Sammy Davis Jr.'s character is a killer. That's bad enough. But Sammy Davis Jr.'s character, Tip Corey, really wanted to go against the law. He hated the law, and he demanded that the marshal throw down his star, his sheriff badge. That's all he wanted. And then there was a gunfight. In the end, Sammy Davis Jr.'s character passed away. Now, that seems kind of like a sad story. But when I asked my students to tell me about this story and what overall themes that they saw that resonated with them, especially in modern society, all of my students talked about really important issues, things that they normally couldn't talk about, especially in high school, without there being a little bit of concern. Things like gun control, racial disparity, law enforcement, racial disparity within law enforcement, and sadly and regrettably, police brutality. They were able to open up and have this huge conversation about these topics that were very important to them. And as they continued to talk about this, we began to form arguments that occurred naturally. These arguments became very respectful. They followed the Aristotelian lead. With this lead, they were able to form an opinion, an argument, and a call to action. Now, first-year composition is often about research and making sure that we can form a pretty good essay. Nothing says a good essay more than a student having the ability to have their voice heard. Further, this also addresses Maslow's hierarchy of needs, one of them being self-actualization. The other one is being cognitive. This way, the students are seeing within themselves problems that occurred as far back that we are aware of in the 1950s, where classic television, a visual medium that many of my students learn better with, that they are able to see these problems that are important to them was just as important to them, or just as important to the people back in the 1950s and 1960s and 1970s and so forth. This also allows them to see how the conversation has changed over the years, especially in regards to racial disparity, feminism, and now the LGBTQIA plus community. By being able to see this conversation being made and the positive impact this has had, this allows the students to not only learn academically, but also use another side of their brain so that they can become wonderful, educated adults and leaders in our society.